Motivation is a funny thing, isn't it? I mean, one moment you are just flying high, you're on top of the world, everything is just like going smooth, you're feeling great, and then boom, before you know it, you are on your back and you feel like everything is falling apart. You can't keep up. And your goals, as far as your fitness is concerned, maybe even other things in your life, are just falling by the wayside. Let me tell you something. You are not alone if you're listening to this right now and this is where you're at. And here's the thing. Even if you're not there right now, even if everything is going great, I want you to save this message and store it for later, because you will have a moment in your life where you are going to need to listen to this to get yourself back on track. So I was having a conversation with one of our rock stars who has had tremendous progress. I mean, this client has lost over 100 pounds in our time working together, and we still have another 20, 30 pounds or so more that we want to get off. And something funny happens when you're able to achieve your goals. Something really interesting happens once you've reached the first milestone, and that is this little demon called complacency. Oh yes, honey, complacency rears its ugly little head, and it makes you feel really good about yourself. And as you should, when you have had progress and you have really pushed your goals, you've gotten to where you want to get to, you should be proud of what you've been able to do. But here's the thing that happens. You start to rest on your laurels. You start to take the foot off the gas pedal. You stop holding yourself completely accountable, saying, oh, you know what? I can get a little nibble here, or I can skip a workout over there. And then little by little, one workout becomes two workouts become four. Those calories just keep going up and up and up. Now the scale, that's a tricky little thing there, because the rebound doesn't necessarily happen overnight, especially when you've been really successful at losing a lot of weight or changing your body and being able to keep it off for a long while. What happens is you start taking that foot off of the gas pedal, and then you start slacking just a little bit, all these little drops in the bucket, and then the weight comes on. A half a pound over here, then another pound about 2 weeks later. And then maybe in another month, you've gained about 5 pounds, and then that 5 pounds becomes 10. And then gradually that 10 pounds becomes 20. And then that 20 pounds becomes 40. And then before you know it, all of the work that you did, that hard work you put in, it just gets thrown to the wayside because the pounds are back. And the tricky thing about the body, the way that life isn't fair, is that you're going to gain the weight that you lost and then some extra. And that's why it's so crucial that when you are in these periods of what we'll call desolation, that you pay attention to staying steadfast to all of the things that got you where you needed to be in the first place. Now, why did this client particularly fall off? Well, life happened. She got busy. There were some personal things happening in her life. She got into school and work stuff, got really crazy. And I know so many of you can relate to that. Perhaps it's family obligations, perhaps it's a career change, a move going on, other things happening with the children, your significant other, whatever. Things pull you in different directions, and then little by little, you stop paying attention to what you need to do to keep yourself on track, including your fitness routine, including your diet. And just that little bit of relaxation in your method and in your approach can snatch your progress away from you faster than you can blink your eye. Here's something that I told her that I want you to take home as well. When you have a job to do, your boss tells you you got to get to work by 8 o'clock. What do? Most people are going to get there by 7:30, maybe 7:45. Make sure that they're ready, they're there, they're relaxed, and they're boom, ready to go when that 8 o'clock hour strikes. You got a doctor's appointment, you're going to show up on time. You're not going to keep the doctor waiting, not if you can help it, right? You have all these obligations to everything else, all these rules and everything else that you are beholden to, that you show up for. You can't show up for your workouts. You can't show up to feed yourself properly, prepare the foods that you need to be healthy and strong, and to have the body that you're working so hard for, and not only have it, but to keep it. That's the reality. that you've put everything else above you and what it is you want to do and your responsibilities to you. You've put everything else above that. And you need to get back to the basics. You need to get back to what you have to do to make this a lifestyle, because that is where success happens. Look, this stuff is not easy. I know. Don't think that just because I'm a coach, I'm a trainer, I've been a professional dancer, a IFBB pro, all of these things, that I don't struggle. I can sit here and talk to you like this because I have struggled, because I know what it's like to lose motivation. I know what it's like to not want to get up and do it, but you know what? You got to get up and do it anyway. You got to have that hunger within you. And when you have reached the first milestone, you got to set something new, something to keep yourself motivated and going. And to always find those little challenges, even when you're in maintenance mode, because that again is the danger zone. As soon as you start lifting up your foot off that gas pedal and you start thinking that you have all this freedom and ability to just do what you want, eat what you want, that is when the pounds come back. That is when you start losing progress. And we always want to avoid that as much as we can. This client got very emotional when I pointed these things out to her. And I know for so many of you, you might have that emotional tug on you as well, as you face the fact that you're not doing right for yourself right now and what your goals are. Here's what I told her: do not beat yourself up. You can give yourself grace, but you got to face the music. You can't sit in denial and act like none of this stuff matters. You got to get up. You've got to get back on track. You got to own the fact that you are not being your best, that you are in fact dropping the ball, and that it's got to stop. There's a quote by motivational speaker Eric Thomas that I really love. It was a cornerstone of motivation for me at one of my darkest times in my life. And it goes something like this: fall on your back. Because when you fall on your back, you can look up. And if you can look up, you can get up. For my client, I told her, don't be afraid to fall on your back. Look up, reach your hand out to get up, because here I am right there to grab that hand, hoist you up, and walk this way with you. Some of you need that. You need to rely on a coach. You need to rely on a trainer. If you're working with me and you're one of my clients and you're hearing this right now, where are you? If you're struggling, reach out, because in coaching, this is where we get to shine. Because it's easy to coach when someone is doing well, but when they are struggling, that is when the coach gets to shine, and you get to get real solutions and learn how to really overcome your problems so you can be successful in the long run. And that's what this stuff is all about at the end of the day. And if you are listening to this message right now and you're not a client, then you better go ahead and head down and work with me. Head over to rockstarfitness.com/claritycall to set up your complimentary call, so that way we can talk about exactly what it is that you need to do to get to your best ever. It is in your hands, and the help is there if you need it. I hope this message inspires you and fires you up to raise the bar in and out of the gym and get the results that you want, but to also be able to keep those results for life.